for our case, we as the commissioners, it is for the presidential result, they are supposed to fill Form 34C, which is a summary of all the results from all the constituencies in the country. That is the result form. We want to submit that was never submitted to us. What we got from the CEO from the CEO then to the chairman and the commissioners is a three or four page summary of all the counties, the 47 counties. So as we sit, we have never seen Form 34C, which is the presidential resort form. And that is the reason why we say it was unfair for us to be forced out of the commission, and we hope that that will be looked into. Now, our recommendation, as we move to our recommendation, one, we hope that sooner than later, the Iebc Commission is going to be reconstituted as quickly as possible. There are several issues, including boundary delimitation, which is a very urgent issue. We are hoping that as soon as possible, the Commission is going to be reconstituted. Now, number two, the Commission, acting as a technical full-time commission, is essentially not only non-strategic, it is also policy-oriented. It must have elaborate rules for the commissions, responsibility of the commissioners, a framework to organize the commission in such a way that the commissioners are responsible for the directorate they head. What we have currently is a situation whereby the CEO of the commission is running the commission. However, the commissioners head certain committees. And I'll give you an example. When I was at the commission, I was the chairman of Finance and Supply Chain Committee. However, in the law, the work of the supply chain, the person who is answerable is the CEO. According to the Public Finance Management Act, he is the same person responsible for the finances of the commission. What is the role of a chairman of a committee like that one in Iebc, even if you are a commissioner? Literally nothing. And that is what we find. And these are the legal issues which you think the structure of the commission needs to be addressed. And unfortunately enough, the Supreme Court did address itself and said that there needs to be the corporate governance within the commission need to be addressed. What we are proposing is that, one, we would like to request or to consider that we use the Ghanaian model of the commission, whereby we are suggesting the chairman of the commission with two deputies becomes the accounting officer. They are full-time commissions. We are suggesting that the commission be led by the chairman and the commissioners who are full-time and accountable. So the accounting officer of the Iebc should be the chairman of Iebc, so that we do not have a law whereby the resources are being accounted for by the secretariat and the commission is just there to oversee or to oversight. The responsibility of the commission to manage the elections in any country is very high. Therefore, I would suggest that we do not consider the commission like other parastatals or board of governors organizations. The Ghanaian model also, I would suggest, in the selection of the select committee that is going to be used to interview the commissioners, the Ghanaian model is also very good. I suggest that you can look at it. You don't have to adopt it, but you can adopt it according to what you want as a country to fit our country. I'm suggesting because the chairman of the Electoral Commission of Ghana is a former Chief Justice. Then they also have a former Chief of General Staff, a former IG of the police, and the other commissioners. But that team, in our country, I was also going to suggest that probably Council of Governors should be members of the select committee. You could have two people, one from the minority, one from the majority. These are our suggestions. It's for consideration. Finally, the distinction must be made where the law or the Constitution provides the mandatory function of the Commission. For instance, under Article 138, the commissioners have direct role in the verification, declaration of presidential results. In relation to such, the CEO, for example, last election, the CEO and Professor Gulier were the ones who were given the mandate by the chairman of Iebc to do the tallying. That information was not. That was not a delegated responsibility by the commissioners to the CEO. And it is an appointment that was made by Mr. Chebukati. I don't think that is within the law. So with those few remarks, I wish to ask my brother to take up the next part of presentation. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Commissioner Wanderi. May I add that the process of election in Kenya must observe several values. And these are the values upon which any election can actually be judged upon. It is simple, it is secure, it is accurate, it is accountable, it is verifiable, and it is transparent. If we don't have any of those, or some of those, in the values of running an election, then we know that we are doing very badly. The Maina Kiai and Iebc case that came up shortly before the 2017 elections was around the issues of Article 86 and 138 of the Constitution and Section 39 of the Elections Act. And the upshot of the decision was, in fact, of timely electronic transmission of the election results, and also the materiality of results transmitted electronically, and essential consistency with results transported physically for tallying at the constituency tallying center. The effect of the Maina Kiai decision and amendments to Section 44 and 39 were intended to give effect to Articles 86 and 138 by legislating mandatory electronic transmission, which mirrors and has the same effect as the physically transmitted results declaration forms through the physical tabulation chain. And this is the reason why the country spent millions of money to secure an electronic voter system. Now, I just want to talk about the accountability of polling station results. And this is how this worked. And it worked according to how we had discussed. That by operation of Section 39, the Commission is statutorily required to electronically transmit tabulated results and an image of the result declaration form confirming the authenticity of the polling station results. The process for accountability of presidential results contemplated three things in order to achieve the verifiability and accountability under Article 89. First, the presiding officers are expected to send, one, a tabulated result of the polling station. Two, the image of the polling station results declaration form. And three, physical result declaration forms transferred to the returning officer. The technology investment by the Commission ensured the presiding officers could transmit tabulated polling station results concurrently with the image of the result declaration forms. The tabulated results will give the country a running tally of the results on real-time basis. As the Secretariat and the Commission and the country were tabulating, the running results from the fields will be seen on the screen. The tabulated results will give the country a running tally of the result on real-time basis. The presiding officers are also required to transmit the image of the result declaration form based on time stamps, location stamps, KIMS QR code, serial numbers, and other specifications provided in the KIMS technology. That is how it was envisaged. Now, how did we do it? The chairperson unilaterally took the decision to deny the country the benefit of a running tally based on tabulated results as a countercheck of the transmitted images and the results declared in the constituency tallying centers and the national tallying center. This was stopped. As commissioners, we therefore did not know the running tabulation. People at home that were doing this with us also were at a loss. It is because we stopped doing this. Some of us discussed this with the chairman and said, 2017 is a bad memory for Iebc. That is the time that the organization was accused of, I think it was called the Vifaranga computer thing. We were manufacturing results. And I said, Mr. Chairman, you need to organize this. And he said, I am busy right now, but I will sort it out later. It was never sorted out. By Iebc taking an ad hoc administrative decision in violation of Section 39 and sending an image, it ensured that it did not tabulate the electronic results. This deliberately put the country in the dark, and results remain indeterminate. Secondly, the Iebc failed to undertake electronic tabulation and publication of constituency tallying of presidential results. This violation had two effects. One, it ensured that the country had no electronic source to countercheck the results obtained from the portal, nor did it have the benefit of tabulated results by the institution that is constitutionally mandated to undertake tabulation. This shifted, therefore, the returning officer's obligation under Article 86 and 138 to the chairman as the sole returning officer working with officials at the tallying center who have no statutory role or clear procedure of delegation by the commissioners. It ensured neither us as commissioners nor the county had effective accountability framework for the results. That was the upshot of that. The effect of the violations, willful omissions, and an ad hoc decision by the chairman ensured that the investment in the schemes was not used to achieve the objectives of transparency, determinacy, and accountability of presidential election results. It effectively resulted to keeping the country in the dark for too long, giving undue power to the chairperson in collusion with his preferred selection of commissioners and unaccountable staff in total alienation of ourselves. The result management framework of the 2022 presidential election effectively mirrored 207 presidential declaration and derogated the gains of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, 2016 amendments to the Elections Act. Minor care decision and immense investment in technology were all had gone down the drain. We maintain our position that the results of the 2022 presidential election are indeterminate, as they were neither tabulated nor verified by the commissioners in accordance with the process contemplated under Article 138. And what then had happened, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, is that we thought, or rather Mr. Chairman thought, that the title chair of the commission and commission are the same thing. So if he was acting on behalf of the commission as the chair, then commissioners need not have to be there. Some of the disputes, and this is what I want to say, as commissioners, we had areas of concern that we needed to discuss with the chair. We had conflict even while we were at the commission. And what then can we do? What are some of the recommendations that we can make that when a commissioner or commissioners have a problem or with a chair that does things unilaterally, do we just sit and watch, or there is a body that can come in place?
Chair, point of order. Yeah. It would appear that the other participants have been cut off. So we need to understand how we can proceed. I suggest we pause.
And are you certain, Secretariat, that they can hear us? Are we making any progress? Probably Nyangai will ask you as you resume to try and be a bit quick if we still have to hear them. Or we allow them to, when they come on, to have their take first.
Indeed, based on Wanderi's presentation, I think we can allow them to come on, and then you...
Is that okay?
Okay.
We stand guided.
Because of these technological challenges,
Yes.
you never know when it will go up again and disrupt us.
Okay.
Depending on where
But also when you come back yourself, try and be a bit quick.
All right, thank you.
Desist from taking us through the entire Supreme Court process. Kenyans watch the whole process on live TV every day. So do not re-litigate the case. The case was litigated in the Supreme Court, and the committee will not litigate again. Are they back? Is this a JC Rucha? So Commissioner Masit, Commissioner Cherera, if you can hear us. Are you sure they're online?
Are you here?
They've muted. Or you have muted. Commissioners Masit and Commissioner Cherera, can you hear us? Confirm?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you and welcome. I'm certain you may know all the members of this National Dialogue Committee, so we'll not go back to the introductions. If anything, we did that, and I'm sure you are following us. We have just changed the model. Before Commissioner Nyang'aya finishes, we hear from you because of the technological challenges that may keep popping up. So we'll ask you in a few minutes to have your take, then we'll resume to what was. Is Commissioner Masit on? Commissioner Masit is muted.
Thank you, co-chairs and the Honorable Committee. Thank you for the opportunity to be invited to give our recommendations.
Sorry, I'm on, eh? Sorry, I had a challenge. Tell them I'm on. Sorry, thank you.
Karibu, Commissioner Masit. Cherera, you may continue.
Thank you.
We did submit a written memorandum to the committee, and we stand by that. We only want the good of the commission and our country. What we, as the 4 commissioners, were taken through is not something that we wish any other commissioner, when appointed, to be taken through what we went through. So, in the good faith of our country, we want the next generation of commissioners at IEBC be people that will be handled with integrity that it deserves. And their voice will not be shut down, because as commissioners, we were there in the kitchen. We know what happened. Some of these things need to be spoken in a safe space. Commissioners, past and every generational commissions, and even to make it wider, the constitutional commissions that are there, they have something to give back to our country. Having commissioners and chasing them away, we lose a lot of the investment that the country puts on them. We only wish that we can have a safe space to talk about these things.
Recording in progress.
So that any other commissioner that is employed at IEBC will not be there just because of the salary, that will be there to ensure that things are done right and integrity is preserved. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cherera. Commissioner Masit. She disappeared again. Commissioner Masit. Is she the one in steps? Yes. She muted again. Text her if she's somewhere.
Okay.
Hello?
Can we ask you a question before you disappear? Maybe you hear Commissioner
I think
Masit.
Masit is back.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, please?
We can hear you
We
now,
can hear
Masit.
you, Masit.
You can hear me?
We can hear you. If you don't mind, if you can touch your
thank you.
video icon.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's the wind where I am. Thank you, bipartisan committee. Thank you, all members, for giving us this opportunity. I want to just say a few words because, as you know, I still have a case in court. I have appealed at the Human Rights and Constitutional Court on my removal, and some things are being canvassed in court. But I want to say in brief, what was done in formals was not verification and tallying of elections. When we were announcing, all of us, what we were announcing were handwritten summaries, which were to be taken, to be typed, and to be brought back for commission, and each commissioner to check what they had written and what they had been typed, if it is in order. It went one way. Two, when the results came, it came only in 3 pages. And it was a summary in counties which exceeded 100%. That's where the dispute started from. How could we announce results which are over 100% and we have not been given Form 34C or summaries we wrote from constituencies to confirm whether what we announced and what had been typed is the same? Up to today, we've never seen from 34C. Again, what happened in formals, we had not finished even announcing 27 constituencies. The screen was technically put up for Kenyans not to see what was going on. And when we asked it, it became an issue. Informers were removed from our committees. I chair Legal Affairs Committee. That's what I used to chair. But 1 week to election, chairman wrote us letters, putting me logistics, welfare, and security with Wanderi, putting Cherera at the communication center, Nyangaya protocol, to remove us from results and assign results to Collier and Marchand only, with letters written specifically which are part of the process which are in court. We were never involved, we were never told anything, and when we wanted to say it, they said we wanted to overturn the people. Yet, when the security team came, there were no results. There was nothing. We could not even talk of results because at that time there were no results. If anything, they just said there was tension in the country, and there was no screen showing, and we were taking so long. We should ask them to ease the tension in the country. So up to now, we don't know the results, and it's very important that we audit these results. Very, very important, because when we audit and even made open to everybody, even those people who have been elected and who lost as MPs, and even others, they will know their results. Because I want to say, this was not tallying, there was no verification, it was just, it is not, I don't know what to say about it as a commission. It's a shame for our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Masit. And Cherera, please, we'll ask you to just stay online. We take a few questions.
Yeah, I want to go first. Why are you not here with us? Is it because of security concerns on the part of two of you? Of course, we take note of what Commissioner Masita said. Some of the matters are still in court. But for the benefit of the country, are you safe? Why are you out of the country? Thank you.
Yes, Chair.
Maybe first confirm whether you're out of the country.
I'm outside of the country for security reasons.
Okay.
Remember, I come from Rift Valley. Before that, even they said that
betray the community. In the Facebook, in all social media, I was saying, I've never stepped in my home since that time. I've never even gone beyond my room. That time, I got calls, people telling me to drop the case. What am I doing? So many things, but I believe it's my constitutional right because I know what I did and what I didn't do. So it is because of security reasons. I'm out of the country and we're not doing even well because even the salaries we had, they were stopped. Even the 1/3 when I'm doing the case. So we are living at the mercy of people outside. So Commissioner Cherera talk on herself, but mine is a long story. I don't want to say so many details because I told you I have a case in court, but it's because of security reasons. Thank you.
Irene, this is Eugene Wamala. We're in college together.
We are actually the same year.
You're on campus together at the university. Yes, you know, Ishunga likes saying the school because we went to our land, but I was at the University of Nairobi. We're very sorry to hear that.
On a light note, at least now we know how you know Commissioner Irene.
We are... No, Irene, we are sorry to hear that you're out of the country. And literally from what you're explaining, because the whole country is listening, it's like you're in exile or something. Did you receive specific threats? What about your family? Are they in the Rift Valley? Have they also moved out of the country with you? And is Commissioner Cherera also under the same situation, being away from the country, not by choice, but literally in exile? Is that the situation with Commissioner Cherera as well? And sorry.
Thank you, Co-Chair, for that question. It's a very emotive question. You heard when Commissioner Masit was responding. She was really shaken, and it has taken a toll to all of us. I, being the vice chair and the voice behind the mic, and the team being dubbed by my son name, Cherera 4. I am in my late 40s, and I have a young family. My last born is 7 years old. It was bad even in school. Our social life was really thwarted. It was bad for my children. It was bad for my family. And I said some of things we cannot say them on camera because it is not a safe space for all of us. We've been threatened just because we spoke what we saw and what we know. Personally, I was in charge of communication at Bomas. I used to get information and statements from the commission, and I give it out to the media. The screens were there to help the same, but came on Friday evening, the screens were stopped. Everyone used to come to me to get information. And you know, part of communication is the transparency bit that is a requirement in any election. I could not give people that information. I asked the chair that we refresh the screens so that Kenyans can see how many votes we have tallied, how many are remaining, and of course it was going to be helpful for the country to see the trend and also prepare them to the end. Of course, if it remains like 5,000 votes, people already know how this election has gone. But that was stopped, and it was not something that we had agreed in the commission plenary. I asked about this 2 times, and the chairman said that he was busy tallying. And this tallying, he was doing it alone with selected few. So all of us, even me as the vice chair, was kept out of this information. And that's why, even today, we will stand by our word that we disown this election presidential result because it was tallied by a few and it was not verified. As we were reading the constituency results, there were queries that were coming on our desk. We needed to get to know how these queries have been resolved to come to the final tally, but all that was not forthcoming. So our voice to disown the results has brought a lot of economic, social, negative impact to ourselves and to our families. When the security was withdrawn, it was withdrawn from our homes and our personal security. And at that time, mandamanos were almost starting. And let me be very clear with the committee. It was said on that faithful Sunday when people gathered in a church somewhere, I can't remember. And after the sermon, it was just Cherera 4 should resign, Cherera 4 should resign. And after that, the opposition started saying that they will go to the street because of Cherera 4, they should not resign. As a Kenyan, loving the citizens of this country, that was the day I decided that Kenyans will not go to the streets in my name and blood be shed. Monday morning, I resigned after that Sunday. I did not resign because of myself. I didn't come to the commission to resign. I resigned for the sake of this country. If anyone is to fight for me, God will fight my battles. As we conclude that since even to date, the commission published the 2022 presidential election, I want to submit that this election be audited. The servers should be opened and a forensic audit should happen. Let us put this thing to rest. After the audit, let us move on. But I will leave it to the committee and the country to decide. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cherera and Commissioner Masit. And maybe Commissioner Masit, there is a question, specific question Honorable Eugene asked you. Did you receive any specific threats? And as you answer that, I put a rider to it. Were those specific threats from any specific people? Did you report them to the police? Have you recorded any statements of such threats? To Commissioner Cherera, you have indicated that you resigned, but there was an assertion that you had been forced to resign. From what you have said, it looks like circumstances around the calls for demonstrations and calls for your resignation is what made you resign, and you have asserted that you resigned to save the country from bloodshed and people dying in your name. My third question to you, Commissioner Cherera, you say you spoke on behalf, and you have rightly put it, the 4 of you are Christian, the Cherera 4. Maybe Kenyans liked you more than, liked your face more than, because you are more on TV, being in charge of communication, and that's why they were Christian, the Cherera 4. But, is she still there? Yes, she is. Okay. But you have asserted that you would communicate on behalf of the commission. You have both asserted that you did not see any Form 34C. You did not tally. But Commissioner Cherera, I do remember you somewhere around Serena announcing results. What results were you announcing? Where did that tally come from, if you were not involved in any tally? And why did you not adduce that evidence before the Supreme Court? And as I said, we are not litigating the Supreme Court again. But why did you not adduce evidence before the Supreme Court that not a single 34C was seen by yourselves? you did not adduce any single form that differed from the forms that were on the portal. The Supreme Court verified those results that were in the portal, and you did not. Why did you not then? Did you not trust? Because there are things you are saying you cannot tell us. Did you not also trust the Supreme Court of this republic?
Thank you,
Thank
Chair.
you.
I can come
Thank
first.
you, Chair.
And then,
Baby Masit can go first.
yeah, because mine are few. Thank you, Chairman. One, I want to say for record that I'm strengthened, actually before I resigned. And that one, it's on record in my case in court. And my lawyer is aware. My lawyer is Donald Kikori. And I think if you want to hear more, maybe you can invite him to shed more light, because that is in court. But I was threatened that time, that one I said, but this one, it was urgent. I could not do it because I could not report because people followed me. I ignored for some time. But that night, on Saturday, going to Sunday morning, people came to around my gate, and I had to sneak actually with pajamas through the back door gate, took a motorbike, went to, let me disclose the committee in confidence, went to Nanaya because I could not trust them.
Commissioner.
Yes.
I would just beg you answer the question straight up. Did you report to the police? Because that was more of the direct question. Or you reported to your lawyer, Donald Kipkorir? Are you still online? She has muted the mic.
Are you hearing me? I'm on the line.
Yeah, we were pleading.
Yes.
Instead of narrating the circumstances, the question was rather direct as to whether you reported specific threats to the police, other than to your lawyer.
Not the police. I reported to the lawyer, the first one, but the second one I didn't have time because those people were closing in on me, and the only thing was to take a motorbike to the airport with my passport.
So the straight answer is that you never reported to the police.
And left the country that night.
You never reported to the police, you reported to lawyer Donald Kipkorir.
No, there were two threats. The first one is to the lawyer, because I was still in the country. The second one, when I left the country, it was at night. I took a motorbike to the airport, paid cash, and I was the last one in the manifest, and I left that night. I didn't have even time to report because I was saving my life that time.
So you did not report to the police?
Yes, I didn't report that one when I was leaving.
Because
I told my
the
lawyer,
incident, let me get it right, Commissioner, the incident happened at night?
Yes.
You took a motorbike at night?
At night?
To the airport?
I left the country at night.
You left the country at night? Meaning you also got the ticket at night? And a plane was waiting for you at night? Okay.
That night around, late night.
You had a ticket ready?
I think the last one.
With a ticket ready for an international flight?
I caught it. I had to get a connection from Kenya to Amsterdam. Because that time I didn't have an invitation to US where I am. I had a ticket for Canada. I had, a visa for Canada and US. But for Canada...
Commissioner Masit, I'm asking another very direct question to you. Canada. Commissioner Masit, I am asking another very direct question to you.
Yes.
An incident happened at night. You took a border at night.
No, night. The incident happened of night of Saturday.
Saturday night.
Okay.
And you.
Saturday night. Then I disappeared on Saturday night.
The same night.
To a colleague's place. Hello. And stayed there to organize for a ticket on Sunday night.
So you left on Sunday night.
Sunday night, yes. Because I had to get cash to have it paid, and I had to get
okay. Maybe
I was with the person at the airport.
That's good enough. I'm sorry, I'm pushing you. I'm just trying to save time.
Yes.
Maybe Honorable Commissioner Cherera can answer the other questions.
Finally, before I finish, Chair, allow me just to say thank you to Honorable Eugene Wamalwa. It's my yearmate at the University of Nairobi. When he was doing law, I was doing here, and then I went to do law later. That's the reason why I could not resign, because the truth has to come out. Somebody has to stand for my colleagues who at that time also they were facing the same, but I had to. The fact that I come from Rift Valley, nobody wants to see me there. I'm vilified, I'm called a betrayer, traitor. They say even betrayer is worse than a murderer. That's what they call me nowadays. I was removed from all WhatsApp groups, and I'm suffering here. You people, you need to listen to us.
We sincerely
of elections. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Irene. We sincerely sympathize with you, and we pray for your safety wherever you are and whenever you come back here. But we would encourage you to have all those reports made to the police so that if there are specific threats, they're investigated. Commissioner Cherera?
I cannot come now until you are ready. Thank you.
Commissioner Cherera?
Thank you, Co-Chair. Co-Chair, you said that at Cherera we had our own results. I wish that committee will play the clip at Cherera Hotel. We did not have our own results. What we said is that the results that were going to be announced, we disown them because of the manner of opaqueness that last phase was handled. That's what we said. We didn't say that we had our own results. That's why we are saying now that results need to be audited. And this is not of our own. It is even in law that any elections need to be verifiable and can be audited at any other particular time. So it is not something that will begin now. It is there in the Election Act. We emphasize that it should be audited and the servers to be opened.
Chair, my name is Catherine, and my sister Cherera. In your own words, you said the results were handwritten, and the results even exceeded 100%. And how come you never mentioned this to the Supreme Court? You're mentioning it to us here. And those you brought as even the substantiators of the same never brought it and never, substantiated anything. In your own words, surely.
Honorable Committee, I will invite you to my affidavit to the Supreme Court. Whatever we are saying now, it is in our affidavit that we filed at the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, it's like nothing or not everything was read through. We explained everything that we said, and after the Supreme Court gave its ruling, we said we abide by that because it is the apex court of our country. And as law-abiding citizens, we said, yes, we accept it. And from that day henceforth, the Cherera folk have never spoken until today. Let me submit to this honorable committee that everything we have said, it is in our affidavit.
Okay, the Commissioner, I will request that you allow us, you just stay online, hear a few more questions, then you can note them and answer them together. Honorable Sess, Governor Sess.
Thank you, Chair. Let me appreciate the two commissioners, Masit and Cherera, who have seen it fit to participate in this sitting, and we appreciate that they're there. I have a few questions, and not necessarily to Cherera or Masit. I think even the commissioners physically present here may want to answer. Number one, the law has been that the final announcement of the presidential vote is actually what is announced at the polling station. And that is what is called the Form 34A. And we have 46,229 polling stations, that I need no mention. But I'm just wondering, when Commissioner Wanderi Wanderi says that they were not tallying as commissioners. Did you actually think that the 7 commissioners had the capacity to physically tally the 46,229 forms and be able to give the results within 7 days as the law states? Number 2, the matter went before the Supreme Court as a petition. Would you say that the results declared by the chairman were inconsistent in any way with those that were declared at the polling stations? And that brings me to the final statement by Cherera, where she says she wants the server to be opened. And that has been the language, open the server. The secretariat was here, the Iebc secretariat was here. And I remember I personally asked the question of the server because I thought we need to understand what's in the server. And the ICT director said, whatever is in the server is exactly what is in the public portal. That any Form 34A is what they have stored in the server. There's no difference. So what is it you want the server to produce if there was no inconsistency? Or maybe you know of an inconsistency that you should have taken before the Supreme Court. So was there any inconsistency? I think that's the bottom line.
Can I also? Oh, sorry. I wanted to also, this is Hassan Omar. And I, like Cecily, because I probably would want you also to benefit from some of the questions we will pose to your 2 colleagues here. You know, I had a lot of reference to the Maina Kiai case. But the true import of the decision of the Maina Kiai case is that what is declared at the polling station is the actual result of that election. This tallying you're talking about is simply arithmetic. In fact, today I look up to God and say, the systems were so foolproof that our elections cannot be decided by 4 or 7 people. The whole world was monitoring. And in fact, this idea of the server is almost an idea to try and camouflage the fact that there was a result which was verified and those forms that were tallied. Not a single one of you came up with a challenge to meet up, as suggested by Justice Smoking Wanjala, to show one single form signed by your returning officers or agents or anybody that differs with those that have been put onto that server. So I think, or into that portal. So I think we should now, even in terms of moving forward, because what I've heard Eugene, you repeatedly here saying how people say that the outcome of these elections was not free and fair. And I can tell you, outside this group and the 4 of you, I don't know of anybody else who says that the outcome of these elections was not free and fair. Number two, I also was a commissioner at a very stormy point of this country's political transition, I think, which birthed the new constitution and some of the state institutions you see. I investigated instances of violence and laid a lot of responsibility on people who ended up becoming presidents of this country, probably the 4th and 5th. I can tell you, when you do your job consciously, there's nothing to fear. People will send you messages. That's why Ongwae Nyangai is still here and others. I can guarantee you, what Kenyans simply wanted was the truth of what happened. The truth in many instances has been canvassed in the Supreme Court. It has been canvassed across board. And I can tell you without a doubt, at least if it is any threat, it cannot be from our side. Our side is totally comfortable with the fact that the truth was canvassed and mitigated and agreed upon and settled. Lastly, there are a lot of other things that we do not want to go into. There is evidence that was adduced about your meetings, the 4 of you, with Tuju in apartments in Upper Hill, paid for by Ngonga, who was my college mate. People, the National Security Council membership coming here. Senator Wako has clarified why he was here in his personal capacity and the unfortunate circumstances that met him here. The person who came here on behalf of the Security Council is today's CDF. Trust me, the evidence, if we were to pursue the attempt to sabotage this election, would have been overwhelming. That's why we are saying sometimes, let it rest. Let it rest. I can tell you without a doubt, these matters have been canvassed and settled. I can tell you without a doubt, the truth is in public play. I can tell you without a doubt, some of these lies are no longer holding. They are just a few of you who continue to believe in that narrative, and they'll continue to perpetuate it. But every submission that has come here has actually given credibility to the elections.
Honorable Eugene?
Yes, I just wanted to mention something that I think it was Cherera or Commissioner Masit mentioned, that when the security team came, at that point there were no results yet, because there had been an attempt to taint the name of a very distinguished professional career soldier, General Francis Ogola. I think my colleague Omar has referred to that. Thank God, due to the Tonje rules, he is now the CDF. I am happy that you have mentioned that when that team came, they did not come to threaten anyone or to change the results or to overturn. I think for the record it is important, because that was something that went towards tainting a distinguished career of a career soldier of our country. The second issue is the issue of whether you, the commissioners, tallied these results or not. I think listening to the four of you, you have said you did not. We were hoping Chebukati would be here, the chair. And he has denied the country the opportunity to hear both sides of the story in a very arrogant manner. We'll be dealing with that matter shortly. The tone of his letter, the arrogance, is something we will deal with. And I think I would say high-handedness with which you are talking about. And you're not the first commissioners he has differed with. He differed with Commissioner Akombe, differed with the other three commissioners in 2017, with the four of you, with Chiloba. It cannot be that the four commissioners, three commissioners, Commissioner Akombe, Chiloba are all wrong, and only one man called Chebukati is right. There must be something about his personality which goes to the root of the problem, because Article 138 is very clear, and the matter came up before the commission, before the Supreme Court. Looking at the ruling, particularly clause 48 of that ruling, the chairperson had submitted that the issue of verifying and tallying was his exclusive authority. The Supreme Court differed with him. In the paragraph 49, they were very categorical. And if I may read that, we find that the chairperson cannot arrogate to himself the power to verify and to tally the results of the presidential election to the exclusion of the other members of the commission, meaning yourselves. And indeed, Article 138.10, this is what he's been relying on, because he's saying as a returning officer, it was his prerogative. And they said, indeed, Article 138.10 of the Constitution, although the power to declare the results of a presidential election after verification and tallying is vested in the chairperson, he does so only as a delegate of the commission, one of you having sat, tallied, verified, and you announced. I do remember, and Irene Masit will remember, Isaac Hassan was also our classmate at the university. When he was faced with a similar situation, in the previous election, the declaration of the results was delayed for almost 7 hours. When Isaac Hassan sat with his colleagues, they were able to build consensus. And when they came out as a united commission to make that declaration. Now, the concern of this team is that going into the future, having listened from you, you are sidelined, given peripheral roles, and your core mandate you're not given the opportunity to exercise it. In future, there's a danger of a rogue chairman. You are 7, this chairman had 2 only, minority supporting him. The majority of you, up to today, have not owned those results, which still casts the shadow on the legitimacy. Even if we say the Supreme Court's ruling was final, many Kenyans, half of this country, did not vote for this president. The majority of that commission did not agree with these results. That shadow can never go away. We are saying those servers be opened, and I'm happy to hear from Cherera, you have the view that the servers be opened. Many Kenyans want the audit to be done and the truth to be known. We are very grateful. You have time to appear before us, and like your arrogant chair,
but I don't think it is fair for you to have constantly. It is also not fair for you to have constantly gone on the vestiges of the character of a person, but of people who are here. But when you start casting aspersion on people who are not here, and to try and derogate their characters because you do not like what he did or what he decided, it's not fair.
And if you make your point,
the guilty are afraid. Maybe there's something is afraid.
Honorable
guilty of anything.
Honorable Omar and Honorable Eugene
must stop.
Honorable Omar, we've heard you, and maybe we'll just like we protected.
I was actually going to deal with the more serious matters rather than this emotional outburst.
In fact, Vice Chair, I was going to say just like Omar.
That's okay.
Omar.
Fair enough.
I was only saying just like we protected Honorable Eugene from a very lethal attack by a stakeholder, we must equally protect Honorable Commissioner Chebukati, from unwarranted attacks since he's not here to defend himself.
Fair enough, Co-Chair. Let me say this, if we can get back to the issues. It was so nice to listen to the 2 commissioners who are practically in exile, whatever the circumstances, because they fear for their lives. Some of the clarifications you'll probably get from your colleagues. But the important thing is you stick to your guns and you say those results were not proper on account, among other things, of the absence of Form 34C. We heard that from Commissioner Wanderi, that is what actually should have been announced. And even then, and I think actually, come to think of it, these commissioners have afforded us an opportunity as a committee to even do an audit, come to think of it. It's part of a serious auditing we are doing. So we really owe it to them. We'll do the Chebukati matter after this, and I think that should bring closure since he's not here for reasons best known to himself. But Form 34C, up to today, the Commission has never actually published if I understand it correctly, has never published in the official Kenya Gazette the results in accordance with the 290 constituencies plus 1 constituency in the diaspora. Is that correct, Commissioner Wanderi, or indeed the Vice Chair? And what we have is a tabulation from the counties in contravention of what the law says. That was my number 1 question. Honorable Eugene has elaborated very strongly on the other issues. When there was, for more than 7 hours, this we also had, there was a blackout at Bomas. And therefore, the 26 constituencies were then not announced that the understanding was that Professor Gulie was to announce the remaining 26, perhaps with the authority of the chair. What really happened at Bomas? We want to know, because we have heard that according to others that there should be a commission. In fact, that is public knowledge because Chebukati has written an open letter and he says there should be a commission of inquiry to establish what exactly happened at Bomas. What would you say really happened, which gave rise to the confusion? And then, of course, the Supreme Court in its ruling also said that, and I wanted your comment on the Secretariat itself, even as presently constituted. Would you recommend that this committee looks at the work, the composition, the competencies, the heads of those other directorships or directorates? And by the way, were you guys present? I'm sorry, that's unparliamentary. The four of you, did you have any idea whatsoever on the printing? And did any of you go to inspect the printing by this Greek company, which had won? Wanderi, you were part of the procurement. Indeed, that was your responsibility. What would you advise the committee with regard to transparency when it comes to printing of election materials? Because we also have it on record that some commission materials were apprehended at the airport. So at that point, you're all acting together. Was it the negligence on the part of the commission as it then was? Yeah, because we have the legal position, which is very clear, the ruling by the Supreme Court, nobody is contesting that. But we have the issue of legitimacy, which is part of the reason I think this committee was constituted. We want your comments, because the Supreme Court said that what Chebukati had formed with that team, which was advising him as a chair, which gave him the results to announce, even the Supreme Court in its ruling, in its finding, announced that, they were able to pronounce themselves on that as an illegal group. So what would you say to all this? And I want to urge that we desist from emotions and emotional outbursts even between the commissioners, because it's beautiful. We are doing the audit. We must continue to thank the media. I'm quite sure this is one subject that is of great interest to the country. Thank you.
Yeah, that is... It's not, there are no emotional outbursts. People are protesting where there is somebody's character.
No, but we're dealing with lives of Kenyans. We have to, when you want to get a proper cure.
Kenyan's life.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let me just say
and go for his character.
One thing. I'll be very brief. Let's have some. Yeah, I'm happy that now we are back to our senses. Mine is very, very brief, and I want to thank the four commissioners for having taken their time to come and shed more light on the issues surrounding these elections. And I also want to thank the host country for giving the two commissioners political asylum. And I hope they are safe. I just wanted to find out before they muted whether the threats they received whilst in Kenya have continued to follow them even in the country of asylum. If you could clarify whether you are still facing these threats in your asylum. 2, I want to know from the commissioners, now all of you, in the final analysis, having said all that you have said, what, in your opinion, could have been the reason for Mr. Wafula Chebukati to single-handedly, together with the chosen clique, undertake the tallying of election results and eventually unilaterally announce them to exclusion? What could have been the motivation? Because that is important. We could speak until the cows come back. But what could have been the motivation for Chebukati to exclude all of you, at least the four of you, from this very vital process, at this very vital moment in the electoral process? 3, and finally, actually, we were told here by the Iebc CEO, Mr. Marjan, Hussein Marjan, a few days ago, that when he brought the final tally of the presidential election results to the commissioners, I presume he meant the chairperson and the 5 or the 6 of you, that the 4 of you, the now famous Cherera 4, retorted that the margin was too small. I'm just paraphrasing him. The margin was too narrow, and that the results could not be announced, therefore, in the manner they came. I want you to take this opportunity, because this is the only opportunity you have, to respond to that very grave accusation. That immediately you retorted that the margin was too narrow, you took off, that even him, he got surprised, that you took off to Serena, and he only saw you on television. So that was a very serious allegation or accusation leveled against yourselves. What is your take on that? But finally, the 26 or 27 constituencies whose results have not been declared, it is on record, both from the testimony of Marjan when he was here and also I think in the Supreme Court, that those results were supposed to be declared by Wad Ngulie. What is your take on that?
Declared or announced?
Announced, sorry. To be announced. What is your take on that? And bearing in mind that chaos broke out at Bomas when the chairperson, that is Chebukati, and other commissioners, I think Ngulie and Boya Molu, had climbed down to the podium. So, in your view, was that the moment when these 27 constituency results were going to be announced? Or what was it? Thank you.
Chair.
Yeah. Because he's not had something, then says, Omogeni says, Catherine, in that order.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, commissioners. Can I have one go? You know, we are here because this is for posterity. We just want to know the truth.
Chairs.
Yes.
There are so many questions. I wish you let us respond to some, then we move to others.
I guess this is the final one. Probably.
By the some could be related.
Yeah.
Yeah, just note so that the ones that are related, you don't have to answer me and answer Opio if we ask the same thing. Answer generally.
Yeah, you know, this
we are not in court one day.
This is for historians to record. That's why we are undertaking this process. I remember in 1937 in the U.S. during the reign of Franklin Roosevelt, the fight to defend the Supreme Court of the United States of America. When Roosevelt wanted to add 6 justices to water it down, one senator was so emotional, fought for Roosevelt so hard that in the evening he just collapsed in his room and died, and the president lost the fight. Now, as we want to know the truth from you, the trial of O.J. Simpson, the gloves were given to him, and the jury said, if they fit, you murdered. If they don't, you didn't. The question in the room is how to apply Article 138(3)(c). The Supreme Court has said in paragraph 49 that the chairman cannot arrogate himself the power to receive the result from the polling station, as Commissioner Omar says. The Supreme Court says you receive the results, and the chairman and you, the six of you, supervise and oversight the tallying. That if you did that, then the constitution standard was met. The question I am asking, did the four of you participate in a graphic form? Did you participate in receiving results? Just give me like a returning officer has come from Borabu to Bomas. He has the results Senator Omar is referring to. They arrive at Bomas, and you are supposed to verify and tally the results. Did you collectively, in compliance with the Constitution, jointly verify those results and tally? If you did not, you tell us it goes on record. You did not, we know that was only the chairman. Therefore, that will be contrary to the provisions of Article 138 and the findings of the Supreme Court. I wish I can hear that from each one of you, the four of you. Then number two and final. You know, this constitution that we all say the supreme law of the land, in Article 86, obligated you as commissioners. It says that that is voting. In every election, you as Iebc will ensure that whatever voting method and the system that you deploy, you as commissioners, must be simple, accurate, verifiable, secure, and accountable. If we wanted to verify the results that were announced today, if we want to do a verification, is the system that you put in place secure? Is it verifiable? Can we open and see what is in those servers? In your own word, you are the people who put it in place. Can we verify the results that was announced by the chairman? If you could answer those two questions, it will give me some comfort. And then finally, I just wanted to know, there is a finding by the Supreme Court in paragraph, I think, 59, okay? And they have made a very far-reaching finding on the integrity of the entire process. What could you describe was the role of the CEO? And maybe what he told us was a committee of I think, verifying and doing the tallying of the results. What role did they play? If you compare your role as commissioners vis-a-vis the CEO, who would you describe as the person who was very central in the tallying of the presidential results? Thank you.
Catherine?
Thank you, Chair. Mine is just one specific question. The Form 34s kept on streaming in, and we were seeing it live. You continuously filled these forms by yourselves, especially, okay, I'm sorry to call you the Cherera 4, but the four of you were seen on record. 6 days, 6 nights, you are announcing the results day and night. Which results were you announcing? And which results were you reading if there was no verification? Are you sure you are announcing your own stories, or that was even hot air now? Thank you.
Chair, I think very related to Mheshimiwa Catherine's question. Actually, the question is, out of 46,229 stations, you actually announced results of 46,202 polling stations, because the last ones that were not announced due to the skirmishes that were happening there were 27. So which results are these of 46,202? 7 polling stations that you people announced for the last 6 days, 6 nights. Who tallied them before you came to announce to Kenyans when you did? And why was it a problem that the last 27 polling stations were disputed? 27 constituencies. What happened that they were not announced? Maybe you tell us exactly how it is that Ngulia could not even make an announcement of the results in the 27 constituencies. According to the Iebc Secretariat, they said, and this is, I may not paraphrase the CEO, but this is what he said. When the results, he said that for every polling station that was announced, the results were verified by the agents of the various, of the presidential candidates. They would verify the results based on what they had received themselves from the ground, and once they were satisfied, the results would be announced. Now, why is it that you're trying to create a narrative that these results were not true, yet you announced them yourself for the past 6 days? And one of you actually in your press at Cherera said, we've been working very well until this morning. Very well until this morning. That you found the gap was so narrow, you said you will not accept that. One of you commented that in that meeting of the final 27. You will not accept, the gap is too narrow. So whose interest were you representing, if I may ask?
Lastly, just from where Governor Seza has stopped, indeed, at the Cherera conference, Commissioner Nyang'aya, you are the one who averred that you have worked so well until this morning. And therefore, if you had worked so well and you are receiving results, you are being verified, and we are all in Bomas. I was in Bomas myself. The whole floor of Bomas, that is the exercise that was going on, of receiving, verifying, that verification being done even by party agents, including our own party agents, who unfortunately, on the fateful Friday when there was violence here, you saw even their gadgets being stolen on the floor, in the full glare of the media. So, until the day you went to Cherera, everything, in your own words, seemed to be okay and you're working so well. 2, you have said that the commissioners, and even in your presentation, Commissioner Anderi, you said you did not, the commissioners never verified he was chairman and a group he had selected. I would want to know, in your own understanding, if the commissioners are to verify, did you logically and with all practicality expect that from the 40-something thousand forms coming into Bomas, 7 of you were expected to verify and tally yourself, 7 of you, and that question addressed by Senator Omar earlier. And in all previous elections, you may not have benefited from conducting another election, but at least 3 of the other commissioners had conducted another election before you. Did you logically expect that 7 of you would sit somewhere, tally all the forms? You have also said you had never seen any of the Form 34As, 34Cs. They are all on the portal, Iebc portal. And I respectfully heard what my senior counsel, His Excellency Kalonzo, said in terms of publishing election results. But if you read the Elections Act that was guiding your work as commissioners, I think it's section 39(1)(c) of the Elections Act says that determination and declaration of results, the commission shall determine, declare, and publish the results of an election immediately after the close of polling. And once he says, for purposes of a presidential election, the commission shall publish the polling result forms on an online portal maintained by the commission. And I believe that was done. So I want to disabuse the notion that it has to be necessarily in the Kenya Gazette. The law is very clear that even on the online portal where all those forms were published, did you, as the four commissioners, the Cherera 4, Christian Cherera 4, attempt then to even tally? Because it doesn't mean that if Chebukati said you do not tally and the results are on a public portal, you cannot tally, and you ought to have known if what you are telling us that you truly believed that it was your work to tally. Verify each form and tally it yourselves. I would then want to believe that unless you abdicated your responsibility then as commissioners, you ought to have been tallying. Did you have an alternative tally that led to the assertions that were being said at Cherera that the gap is too small? You do not agree with the results. And as has been said here by other people who are presented before us. Lastly, you are here, two of you. And Commissioner, I don't know whether Commissioner Cherera is out of the country or here. Commissioner Irene Masit says she's out of the country on security concerns, which have not been reported to the police other than to her advocate, Donald Kiporin. Maybe, I don't know if he runs a police station in his office. You are here yourselves. What level of security do you have? Do you have any security threats yourselves? Because as much as I saw you walking in confidently without not looking fearful at all. What is it that you have done that has not instilled fear in you and instilled to your two other colleagues? Or is it the question, with all due respect to Governor Cicely and Catherine, that the two are ladies and you are men? On a light note. Yes. Go ahead, Commissioner. Was that Masit? Commissioner Masit?
Yes. Yes, I want you to allow me to.
And I don't know why you didn't. Did you want us to see you, Commissioner?
I don't put a lot of time.
Commissioner, are you able to unmute your video icon so that we are able to see you, to be certain we are speaking to you?
Actually, I'm having challenge. It's my phone.
Okay.
I'm trying
okay, go ahead.
But
go ahead.
Me, I'll do it after. When I'm through, I'll do it when the others are speaking so that you can see me.
Okay,
so that I take
go
time
ahead.
to open it.
Go ahead.
Okay. What I'm asking is to pause where I am. I need to call somewhere, so I want to finish and then I just follow in case of anything. One, the issue of Kulia not announcing the 27th. Actually, when we have met and agreed at 10 a.m., that day 10 a.m., Kulia was to go and announce. So to say that he was to announce and then the fracas started, it's a lie. He should have announced before even the chairman could announce the results at 4 p.m. So the reason why he said he wanted to announce and the reason why he didn't announce, he knows the reason why, because he kept them personal and never announced. So he delayed, it was from 10 he was to announce, but he didn't do it. The reasons, I don't know. Two, somebody said, why were we left out in the tallying process? Actually, when we joined the commission, they called us green-ons. They started isolating us. We have plenary minutes on issues. One, it was on tender process, which we didn't agree. It's on record in plenary. Cutting returning officers in consensus, they did alone. The three of them, they said we were green-ons. It's on record on plenary records in the commission and other issues. So it's not something which started in Bomas. It had been there, but we thought for the sake of the country, we needed to work together as a team. My threats were in two phases. My first threat was on to resign as a commissioner. And that one I did. But the second one, now, which made me run away, was to remove the case. Why am I having a case when all the others have resigned? And due to make it worse, you're spoiling for our province or our region or our community. So it's good to be on record. The second threat was to remove and do away with the case. So, and I could not do it. I could not. The tribunal, it is them who brought the tribunal. So if it is to withdraw the case, it's them to withdraw, not me. So that was the reason. Another thing somebody mentioned about Tuchu, that we are seeing with Tuchu. I want to deny that one, especially me personally, because Tuchu and Chupili took me to court. That time when I was appointed as a commissioner and said I was another ball. So how could I work with Tuchu when already I was having a case to be removed? So in that case, it is I cannot buy that one in. It is just it was just to tarnish some of us to show that we were with Asimil. So that one I cannot buy it in. Whoever said it. The issue of ballot papers. One of the chairmen mentioned that we went to Greece and they want to know what happened. On my side, we went earlier with Nyangaya, with Kulia, and I want to be on record that when we were in Greece, we didn't even know that there were two ballot papers. Ballot paper 1 of 1 and ballot paper 1 of 2. And that's why we are saying we should open the servers, include even ballot boxes, because we don't know if all the ballot papers, the two sets were used or not. Because when the issue came out, it was agreed in formats with all political parties that ballot paper 1 of 2 should not be used and should be kept. And ballot paper 1 of 1 only was to be used. So that's the issue which I discovered myself after the second group went, and then the political parties said, how come we have two types of ballot papers? But we were to have only ballot 1 of 1. How ballot 1 of 2 came out, it was not discussed at the commission, and it is not even on plenary or on record. So that's another issue. When we open the ballot papers and do the auditing, that issue needs to come up. When Merchant said that we refused the tallying because the margin was too small, I want to say first, there were no results which had come out. The dispute was on the 100%. It was 100.001. We were saying in counties, how come results go beyond 100? And I want to say that every vote counts, even if it's 1 vote. So even if that's why they say 50 plus 1, meaning even if 1 vote, it counts. So we should not say because the margin was so small that some votes should not count. And I want also to say, when we were announcing the results, we had a team, we had done elaborate, that's why we were working all together nicely. The returning officers were to come to the down of bombers, sit with political parties agents and give us a summary to announce. So what we were announcing was summary. And that summary was to be taken to be typed and to be brought now, and each commissioner to check what they announced if it's matching with the typed work. But I want to tell this committee, the summaries went one way until today. We've not seen them. We've not seen what we announced, if it's matching what was typed. And while I was at the tribunal, we asked for those results, including from 34C. And it is on record and unanswered. Chebukati answered that all the results we pulled down because it was very expensive to maintain the system. So, one, we could not verify or check what was there because we were told the system had been removed and it was very expensive to maintain. And that one is even in the answered report of the Mutemile Tribunal. So the issue of somebody saying we should have gone round and also do our own research, it was not possible because 26,000 and everything you cannot do unless you have something, a paper and everything. The system, the process of the role of CEO, I want to say, this one also is in my case, the chairman wrote to have letters sealed specifically everyone. Me, I was taken out of the legal section, and the results, tallying and verifying at formats after announcing, the chairman put it in writing, it was Kulie and Marchal. So we have those letters, also it's in my case. So it was very clear when somebody says, why didn't you participate? We were given firm instructions in writing. Now, the issue of asylum, I want to say, as of now, I've not taken an asylum because I have a case in court. When you take an asylum, it means that you don't owe allegiance to that country you are dealing with. I'm on a visitor visa, and if issues are sorted out, I'll be coming home, and if not, because the case, until my case is over, I'll not come home. Because the issue now, which the problem I'm having threats, is to do with my case. So I'll seek to extend my visa until I see that case is done and finished. Finally, I want to thank the committee for giving me this opportunity to answer most of what has been said, but I believe my colleagues will do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Masit Cherera. Commissioner Cherera, your final. Commissioner Cherera. Yeah, she's
okay. Thank you, co-chairs, for this opportunity. Let me talk about procurement in Iebc, about the ballot papers. Procurement is under the Secretariat, and by the time we were recruited in September 2021, most of the strategic materials were already procured, meaning that they were already advertised and the process was way past. So we've had issues with the way things were done when we first arrived. And in our first plenary, we disagreed with the technology that was procured. And all of us said no. But this matter went to court, and then it was ruled that the procurement can proceed. My question to committee and even to the structure of Iebc and the legal reforms that are going to be done. There is no avenue when the commissioners disagree, and especially when majority disagree, and there is no any other avenue, Iebc being independent, to go and vet out for this matter to be agreed upon in an amicable manner, knowing that Iebc is the referee, and referee needs to do things that are acceptable to each and everyone that is going to be participating in this thing. Many times in the commission, in the boardroom, we have differed in opinion, but for the sake of the country having an election in August the 9th, all these matters were quickly agreed upon and some put under the table so that we can have the election. As the commissioners, we have always had conflict. So this was not the first one, as was insinuated by the Supreme Court. It's only that there is no any other avenue. And I will propose something. In the future, can there be an ad hoc, can there be a neutral body that oversees Iebc apart from JLAC? In that body should be like this bipartisan committee, so that things that the commissioners have already clashed about can be resolved, and then the commission moves ahead. The procurement of ballot papers was already done, and I will jog your mind back in July. I can't remember the specific date, but the newspapers in the country were all awash with news that ballot papers were coming from Uganda. And a honorable member was mentioned, whether it was data press or not. Funny enough, the night of that day, the chairman called me and said that tomorrow we are receiving our legit ballot papers from the airport. As the vice chair, I was shocked why this is happening, as if we didn't have a plan. Nonetheless, the next day, the chairman plus a few commissioners went to the airport to receive our ballot paper, and the rest remained because we had a function with Kenya Private Sector Alliance. That day, there was a clear departure of the commission not working together. But for the sake of the country, we stood and we told the country that everything is in order. It was just communication breakdown between the secretariat and the commissioners. That should not have happened in a civilized country like ours. That is something that breaks the trust, because if the secretariat will do something and they will not inform the commissioner, that is wrong. Let me submit to the committee that after that, the chairman proposed to the stakeholders that we will go to Greece to oversee the printing of the presidential ballot papers, because by then, papers had already started coming to the country. So the presidential ballot papers were the last in the schedule to be printed. So the stakeholders, I am a chair of the partners, so the stakeholders gave their names and we started the process of getting visa to Greece. The process took a little bit longer than expected. We had to get people intervene on behalf of the team. By the time we left the country, materials were intercepted by DCI at the airport. So the chairman and the few commissioners that were on the ground were handling that matter. But apparently, I also submit to commissioners to speak on what was happening on the ground. So that was something else that another commissioner who was on the ground.
That was on the matter of smart.
For
Commissioner.
Yeah.
That was on Smartmatic, the pronouncements by the chair. That's what the co-chair wants to establish.
Yeah, I want to establish the commission chair issued a statement on Smartmatic, or whatever they are called, without your involvement. But if we remember well, DCI is actually DCI. Are you aware what DCI did with that matter if they were actually not commission staff? Because it was actually in the news, and the commission indeed issued a statement. Do you know then what happened with DCI on that matter? If, as you aver, they were not working for the commission.
The mathematic materials that were held at the airport by the DCI, I said that time the team, me and Wanderi were in Greece. So the statements that were being issued were not commission statements. The chairman did them alone. Until we came back, and we sat together with the Inspector General of Police and the team, and they said that they have sorted the matter amicably, and we did a joint press conference together with them.
So when you came back, let me get it right. When you came back, you had a meeting with the IG, Inspector General of Police. Were you in that meeting? All of you were there. And why did you not question if you think or if you believed they were not working for the commission? You participated then in a meeting with the Inspector General of Police that said you had sorted out the issue.
This, co-chair, security matters are very, they're not supposed to be conversed here, but what we did was we agreed with the DCI that this matter has been sorted because mathematics was the one procured to do the technology for elections. And we gave a joint statement after the back and forth statement from security and Iebc. So that day we gave a joint entry that everything is under control. Mathematics was working.
Yes. Oh, that's okay. I wanted a comment on the secretariat, the competence, because you said it's like you, the greenhorns. To quote one of you, I think it was Masit who talked about you being referred to as greenhorns. It looks like most of everything, literally, the commission work is all the secretariat. Did you have time to investigate the efficiency of the secretariat? It looks like the chairman was working with the secretariat to the exclusion of the rest of you.
Co-chair.
Yeah, I'd put that matter actually. I was hoping Wanderi was going to respond to it.
Yes,
I can respond also.
Masit, you want to respond
I'm
before
saying,
Wanderi?
Give
Yeah.
us an
Yes,
opportunity
yeah.
also to explain
Yes,
some
yes, indeed.
because
Maybe because we had hoped that as the co-chairs that we'll finish with them, because you never know with technology, it's mathematic type, could cut them off.
And
Give us
Co-chair,
time
we
also.
have, maybe we,
Yes, Chair.
Cherera, if you have just a closing remark, then you allow us to deal with Nyangaya and Wanderi.
Yeah,
We have the Council of Governors who have been waiting.
okay.
Okay, let me say something small because what has been asked about Secretariat and the Commission. One, I want to make a proposal that at IPC we should have a Commission Secretary and then a CEO. At IPC, Commission Secretary and the CEO is one and the same. And you know, in most organizations, Commission Secretary is a lawyer or somebody who has done law. So most of the runnings of IPC, it was Chebukati and Marchal. In fact, before anything comes to plenary, they had to have a meeting before a meeting. And the other commissioners. So that when they are coming, what they are coming to present to us are things which have already been decided. So as such to endorse, but we said, for the sake of this country, we knew we will have time after elections. We said, let's focus on elections so that after elections, we can look at these issues with Iebc. But it never came to pass. So it's true, it's a one-man show of the chairman and the CEO, and the two other commissioners who are there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners Cherera and Masit. You could
Yeah. Yes, Chair.
You could
My
continue listen.
My final remarks.
Okay, in half a minute.
Okay, thank you, Chairs, the co-chairs of this committee. I want to submit to the committee that I was the vice chair and I was in the kitchen. Kindly, let's allow an in-depth closure to this matter because only then the country can move forward. We wish to have a very independent and strong commission. If it is not for us, it will be for the generations to come. You asked whether I am in the country or out of the country. I am out of the country because of matters in security, being the vice chair and having taken a stand. I will not give details to this because it is very emotive, but if given a safe space, these things are going to come to light. Thank you.
Thank you.
We can then hear, Wanderi, the issues that we have been canvassed here. Some of them have been dealt by your colleagues out there. You don't need to repeat, right? But the issues that have not been dealt with, please, and be brief. Actually, you know, we had our rules that we give you 20 minutes. You have taken the whole afternoon. So be kind also to the work, and we consider the importance of your contribution, and that's why I've been flexible. So please.
Thank you, Co-Chair. We thought we have been forgotten because the leaders in the US have taken almost all the time. I just want, first of all, to respond to the issue raised by Mheshimiwa Cicely, Amal, and Catherine. First of all, I want to be on record that we have not been pursuing a narrative as was indicated by Mheshimiwa Barire. We are not pursuing a narrative. And for me to prove that, let me give you one thing. I want to explain how the results were done. It was not possible for sure for the 7 commissioners to verify and tally 46,229 polling stations. We are talking from inside. So what happens when you cast your vote at the closure of the time of the polling station, there is the presiding officer at that polling station will count the votes. They will fill the form, the result form, and that is the form that Masit is talking about. It is actually not the ballot papers. It's the result form, which they had 2 copies. Once they are counted, and they are entered in the record, and they are signed by the agents, then the presiding officer at that polling station, using the KIMS kit, takes the photo, image of that result form. It is sent to the National Tallying Center, and then the same is sent to the constituency returning officer. Right? So, the correctness of those results is verified at that particular point. After that, according to the information we had from the Smartmatic who are providing the technology, it is that image that was, when it comes to the National Tallying Center, the same image is supposed to have been sent to the public portal, right? This is an issue which we need to address, because what happened? When the image went, you cannot change the image. The image was converted from the picture image to PDF. And what we are seeing in the public photo is the PDF. And that was not part of what was the result path. It is the same image that was supposed to appear at the public portal. That is important to note. After that, all the polling stations within a constituency are supposed to deliver the original form which they sent to the constituency tallying center, so that at that particular point, you are able to count the votes cast for the members of parliament and all the other candidates, including the presidential. Form 34B, the first one was the Form 34A. Form 34A was done at the polling station. Form 34B is done at the constituency, right? That is supposed to fill all the results, and at that particular point, the returning officer announces the presidential results in that constituency for each candidate. And they fills the form 34B, right? It is filled at the constituency. And at that particular point, he will announce who are the winners, the constituency tallying center. So that at that particular point, you are able to count the votes cast for the members of parliament and all the other candidates, including the presidential. Form 34B. The first one was the Form 34A. Form 34A was done at the polling station. Form 34B is done at the constituency. Right? That is supposed to fill all the results, and at that particular point, the returning officer announces the presidential results in that constituency for each candidate. And they fills the Form 34B. Right? It is filled at the constituency. And at that particular point, he will announce who are the winners. So what we are saying is, and that is what Mainakia said, the results are returned for the presidential candidate are returned at the constituency. Now, once you fill Form 34B, you come, you set the image, then you come with the original to the National Tallying Center. And that is why all the 290 constituencies...
Wanderi, just so that we don't go through the whole process, the specific questions were not on the process, because the process, all these people are political players, they know the process.
They don't know because of Omar. What Omar said.
The question, I'm just paraphrasing the question for you, because yes. I also had a related question. Yes. Because if we take the route you are taking, we may be here up to tomorrow. Okay. The question was, now the 34B that is used to declare results at the constituency, the four of you, did you have a single 34B that was different with the results against the results that were declared and on the public portal? Whether it was PDF, whether it was photograph, did you have one single form that showed or that you can show different results other than the declared results? That was just a straight question.
That question cannot be answered that simply. Let me explain why. Because Form 34B, when they were coming to the bombers here at the National Tallying Center, all the Form 34Bs, after verification on the floor of the bombers, and I saw you there, after verification by the agents, we were given to go and announce the results that has been verified at the floor of bombers. That is what you saw us announcing, right? After we announced, the results were given to the chairman who went to tally. So the question is this, because they were not tallied before they were announced, they were announced after verification and given to the chairman, and when the chairman went to tally,
again,
he did listen.
Again, Wanderi, just to quicken the process, you did have a problem.
It's important to understand that the chairman did that one without the commission.
That's what I'm trying to help you. The problem you had was at the point of announcement by the chairman for tallying, isn't it? Not at the point the form comes to bombers. We verify as party agents. It goes to the chairman now. Then the chairman has his own system at the corner to tally. That is a corner you have a problem with, isn't it?
Yes, because we were not part of it.
Fine, that is a problem. That's where you have the problem. So our question was, you have a problem with that corner. Since you had forms being verified on the floor, and you announced some of those forms, do you have a single of those forms that you think you announced or was verified on the floor, but then the chairman used a different form or different results to tally?
Mheshimiwa, it was not possible for anybody to know the results, the number that the chairman tallied. If I announced 2,000 votes for you as a presidential candidate, and after that, I hand over the form, because we were not supposed to handle. Those are the results that were surrendered to the chairman, and he signed, he has received them. If he entered in the tallying 2,500, how would I know?
So you never system. Maybe that's what you never. Sorry. I just wanted to be clear.
Just hold on. You hear from Omogeni?
It is important.
I just wanted to be clear.
Question and I'm answering that question.
Yes, I wanted to be clear.
We were not involved
in tallying
Yes.
and verification.
And verification.
In the entire presidential result.
Verification was done by the card agents, and we were supervising that.
Yes.
But the tallying, we were not involved, and that is the responsibility of the commissioners.
So the results could have been changed after verification, before and before the final announcement upon the tally.
And that is the darkest area we are talking about.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Until the announcement.
A question to that assertion.
Yes, Cicely.
You know, Commissioner Wanderi, what
order.
you're saying is not a small matter.
It is not a small
You have a
matter.
whole
And that is
nation
why
to
we are
deal
here.
with here.
Yes.
How come you are not able to prove to the Supreme Court, show any evidence where what the chairman announced and what was verified was invariance? Why didn't you prove that to the highest court of the land? Then you come to bring it here.
Wanderi, I'll just
You had an
plead with you.
opportunity,
Just
Commissioner Wanderi. You had an opportunity.
Cicely.
No,
Commissioner.
you know, he's making some very, very clear, serious allegations.
Answer. Commissioner.
And the question is, why were you unable to prove that what you're saying right now before the Supreme Court? That was your moment. That was your moment as commissioner.
Excuse me.
Then you bring it here, where we cannot verify what you're saying.
Can I, but Chairman.
Just hold on. I beg of you, relax. Just relax. That's why I'm asking you to relax. Yeah? Once you are relaxed, take your time, listen to the question being put to you. Don't start answering a question before it has even been put to you. That way you will save us a lot of time. Because you're interjecting, you don't even hear the question you are being asked, you answer a different question, and it clearly looks now like there is a narrative, as you are denying, you want to push. So I will plead with you, be patient. We have been very patient with you. Be patient and listen to the questions being put to you. Omogeni asked you a question. Cecily was in the verge of asking you a question. You keep interrupting. Allow her to finish. Cecily, just finish. Sorry.
Chair, mine is a simple concern. He's come before this committee. They were party to the petition that was before the Supreme Court. Did you prove to the Supreme Court that there was a variance between what was verified in Form 34B and what the chairman tallied? Were you able to prove what you're saying here before the Supreme Court?
Chair, we have.
I hope it's a question you're asking,
yes,
not answering.
It's a question I'm asking, and it speaks to the question I asked you. You know, we have the decision of the Supreme Court, okay? And if you read paragraph 55, on the issue of tally, this is what the Supreme Court says, that the chairperson on his part did not make matters any better by maintaining a stoic silence, even as things appeared to be falling apart. And I asked you a simple question, which I want you to confirm and explain to us, that did you participate in the tally?
Just hold on. Just note that question.
That's the only explanation I wanted from you. After that, I'll be at peace.
So you'll answer that. My other question was, so that you answer them together, in relation to what you had been asked earlier. You aver that you never participated in the tallying. The forms have been verified on the floor under your supervision and other commissioners and Iebc staff by party agents. They are satisfied, you go announce, and where they are dissatisfied, there was an appellate mechanism where you go and question. When all those forms were verified and you announce, then they go to the corner where they are being now tallied. The straight question we asked was, one, do you have a single incident where a form was verified on the floor, confirmed by party agents to be the results as announced at the polling stations, because the party agents were confirming against their agents' results? They confirm it, you announce, for instance, or Commissioner Ishongo announces, the form goes to Chairman Chebukati for tallying, and from the final tally, or as the tally, because the tallies are there on the portal, you could identify that the forms uploaded on the portal being used for tallying are different from the form that was used to announce the results. Number two, and lastly, Commissioner Anderi, it's not only the commission that was tallying. There were other institutions, including members of the Fourth Estate who were tallying, yes, and Kenyans all over, and other people, including election observers. Are you here today telling us that the country can only believe the Cherera 4 commissioners, not everybody else who was in Bomas, not the election observers, not the Supreme Court? The country should only take Wanderi, Nyang'aya, Cherera, Masit as what they say is a gospel truth. Lastly, Commissioner Masit or Cherera, one of them said you are called greenhorns. I would want a confirmation from you as to whether that is true. You are greenhorns, whether you are referred to as greenhorns, and do you think you, having been seen as greenhorns, influence the other commissioners maybe to have the divisions that you have? Because that is what is important to this dialogue committee, to inform us on the process of appointing commissioners. We are not here to reevaluate or to reevaluate the Supreme Court decision or other state organs' decisions. We are here to look for solutions. Do you think the manner through which the four of you are appointed as commissioners had a bearing to the divisions that ended up with the commission? That, to me, is what would be guiding and helping this commission. So that next, when we appoint a new commission, we must know how do we appoint a commission that will not end up being dysfunctional, as you are telling us yours was.
Thank you. Just very finally, can you also just confirm, for record purposes, that even though you are party to the announcement of results as verified, okay, you had no capacity to know whether what you announced ended up in the final tally, okay, upon handling by the chairperson of the commission, upon exclusive handling by the chairperson of the commission? Okay. Yes.
Can I answer first and foremost?
Yeah, go ahead now and answer those ones.
Okay. Yeah. First and foremost, I want to answer the question.
Okay.
Yes. No, please let's also have some time. I want to confirm, contrary to the Constitution and the Election Act, the commissioners, particularly the four of us, were not involved in the tally. That is simple. And therefore, we cannot be able to say that what we announced was the same that was in the final tally.
Fair enough, Commissioner, since you also did clarify that it is not practical for all commissioners to do that work themselves.
So,
fair enough.
Not finished. I want to answer Mheshimiwa Ishungwa. We are really here to help. We are really here to help in the Constitution and the Iebc in future.
Yes.
We are not here to justify what we did or to question what the Supreme Court decision. We are not, and we do not want to go that route. We are looking at the future and saying, arising out of what is happening here, we are going to have a better commission. And that is why he gave those recommendations, including the recommendation that there should be a body, and we are looking at a Committee on Administration of Justice to be able to intervene wherever there are issues within a commission, because you get to a point where you cannot agree, all of you or some of you, and the issues are important, and they are important to the nation. So we are proposing that there has to be a body that can be able to do that. So
We're winding up now.
Yes.
Please.
Mheshimiwa Mbalile, with due respect, we are not saying we were right and everybody else was wrong. We are just explaining the procedure, the way it happened. Where there are flaws within that procedure, let the committee recommend the legal action to be taken. That's what we are here for. Where there are issues that need to be clarified, let the committee pick them up and be able to clear. Mheshimiwa Nshungwa, we are not going that route. We are here to assist this committee.
Okay.
Thank you, Anderi.
Although you didn't answer my most pertinent issue
Okay, I'll ask you
about whether there was a single form
Any variances in
that
the form?
was in variance with what the. Yeah, I mean, you're a commissioner. You also had access
Okay,
to the
allow
portal.
him
Let me answer
to.
that. I'm sorry.
And you don't. I don't know. Is also an answer.
I will be very brief. All the forms were selected to the chairman. No commissioner was having any form. And for that reason, there's nothing.
Yeah.
There was nothing to produce because the whole document, after we announced,
You do not know.
we do not know what
Very
happened
good.
after that. That is
Nyangaya.
Commissioner Nyangaya.
Yes, thank you very much. A lot has been covered by my colleagues, but I want to put something straight, very clear, about the CEO coming in and giving the chairman Chebukati a 3-page, I think it was a 3-page or a 4-page paper document. And he gives him, they didn't talk. He looked at this paper and he said, oh, we have a winner. And then we are now trying to see who is the winner. And then he says it is the deputy president. He walks out of the boardroom, goes to his office, and comes back generously with documents for each one of us. That document was a summary of county data. It was not the result for 34C. 34C is the result. Now, looking at the document, and we asked, Mr. Chairman, how do I know when I actually...
Nyangaya, with all due respect.
No, let me finish, please, because this is important.
Let me guide Commissioner.
Yeah.
We did guide that we do not want to reopen the Supreme Court matter.
I agree, but you asked a question, sir.
Which is important.
It's a question that you want you to answer,
Yes.
not the process as it were. Because
and so
there are the things you said in your affidavits,
Maybe
or litigated in court. Please don't take
Maybe just summarize
But
that bit of Chebukati coming with things here.
Now that one, and so when now we thank you very much, and now then when we ask the question, what he said is this: the law gives me the responsibility to announce and declare results, and we said, but you can only do that from what we have verified. And we didn't actually know what had been verified. So he said, listen, people have been waiting the whole day.
You didn't know what had been tallied or verified.
We did not know what had been tallied.
Yeah, because verified was...
Yes, we didn't know. Because it is summarized in a county format, not constituency format as we had been announcing. And so he says, the law gives me the responsibility to go and declare results. And we asked, but Mr. Chairman, is this the commission result or this is your result? And he said, anybody who wants to work with me to declare results, follow me. And we are not children. And I realize that you did make a bit of a fuss around the word arrogance, so I am not going to use it. But that's how we felt. And Chebukati walked out, and we were left because in the boardroom. And that's what I want to make very clear, that we were left in the boardroom. Amongst us, therefore, we say...
Allow me, Nyangaya, now that you have gone into the details, was that before or after the National Security Advisory Council set foot in Bomas?
It was at 4:30. The National Security had come at about 2 o'clock.
Okay.
We had finished with...
And just also by way of follow-up, so by the time Chebukati walked out to go to the main stage, that's what he was doing, isn't it? When he said, those who want to announce the results, follow me. So he was coming to the main auditorium.
I suspect that's what he was doing.
So between that time, the time he was just getting to the main auditorium to announce the results, that's the time you left for Serena? Oh,
No,
because that was great speed.
No, we stayed to consult. We said, what do we need to do right now? And we realized that we need to go and tell the country that we are not walking together with Chebukati to the stage to announce. So what then do we have to do? And we decided that we'll go to the press center, which is just out here. And we decided that we'll go there. And somebody said, no. Here, people will fight. It is dangerous. Can we go somewhere else? And we agreed that we'll go somewhere else.
Okay, just to be quick.
So
you left, Chebukati left you in the boardroom, he walked into the auditorium.
No, we don't know
where he went.
He left. He said, those who want to follow me.
Yeah.
You are left seated in the boardroom.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Then, as he announced, maybe that's when you went to Serena?
No. Because your announcement came before we were looking. There was a split screen.
The announcement came before Chebukati.
The time doesn't reconcile.
We were not in control of what Chebukati was doing after he had left the room.
Yes, but Chair.
Whether he had gone to the toilet or gone to the kitchen.
But Chair.
Yes.
These same commissioners who claim they have no idea what was being tallied, immediately the chairman said, those who want to announce the results with me, follow me. They don't know what has been tallied, quickly ran to Serena, and Cherera's words were that the votes have been, the announcement is 100.01%.
Which is 231.
Which is 142,000 votes more than what has been tallied. So they didn't know what has been tallied, but within the moment of leaving Bomas and getting to Serena, they already know what has been tallied. What a contradiction. People who know nothing suddenly know the figure, even including 0.01.
That's the first statement.
Let me correct
this. Maybe you've heard what Seth is asking.
Let me correct this, because this is very, very important. Yes. We had the results of what Chebukati thought was the result, which was not the result. It was in county format. It did not tell anybody and us that Muranga, for example, that we had announced was this, because it was subsumed into a county format. When you are talking about Mheshimiwa Bariri,
county format, you mean the aggregate of the votes at the county level?
At the county, not at the constituency.
Not at the constituency.
And Form 34C is all about constituency.
So let me ask, are you saying that you never populated the results per constituency in Form C?
No, we
You-
didn't.
you never-
What was given to us was on the county. We never did that.
You confirm.
We were hoping that we'll get that.
So as we speak
we need
today,
to close, eh?
can I get it clear? As we speak today, do we have Form 34C that has results from 290 constituencies?
We have never seen that. We never saw it on the day that Chebukati brought
Okay.
the results.
You do not have. You have not seen good answer.
But let me
just pick it up from there as you go back to Sicily. Were those matters canvassed in your affidavits at the Supreme Court?
Yes, they were.
Thank you. And we did indicate we are not reopening the case. Answer says.
Yes.
Now,
and let me just answer. The 152 that you said, 142 that you said that we knew about, we did not. It is at the Supreme Court. After we had sat down and computed that. We never said.
But you know, I have my
Commissioner
phone here.
Nyangaya, that is
Chair,
absolutely not
Chair,
true.
on my phone, I have the video of your statement.
absolutely not true, Commissioner.
Serena. Cherera
Maybe you play it.
actually referred to the 100.01%, which he said translates into 142.
That was the second press conference.
And that,
Wanderi.
Whatever.
The first press conference.
that was the first day
Yes.
when you went to Selena.
Yes.
We said we will give a statement
Later.
tomorrow.
Yes.
That is a statement that contained what Mheshimiwa Barire is saying. All right?
Okay, Nyangaya, please
And,
conclude.
Yes.
So,
Because at this rate we may
as I
never finish.
conclude,
Please.
as I conclude, we have goodwill for this committee and for the country. And we need to soberly examine all these things that people say, because it will come back and bite us one day. Because some of the statements that we are making may not be resonating with other people at this time. But for democracy, it is about the ballot box. By and by, we might actually not have ballot papers in the box, but we might actually have a human being in the box making decision on behalf of the people, because they have been given opportunity to unilaterally make those
Commissioner, there is one last question you didn't answer. The mode, which I said is the most important thing for this dialogue committee. Do you think the mode of your appointment had anything to do with the dysfunctional nature of the commission that you served in?
Yes, I want to say and answer it in this way. Kriegler report did say that commissioners needs to be selected 2 years before. We were only selected 8 or 9 months before the elections. That way, we had found that many things had been done, and when we walked in, it is as if we are an interference.
So you feel the manner in which you are appointed had a bearing as to the workings of your commission, hence you being called greenhorns, feeling you are left out, and you think the country should follow the Kriegler recommendations in that light?
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman.
But Wanderi also thinks, just a minute, Commissioner. Wanderi also thinks that the executive commissioners, against the recommendations of the Kriegler Commission, is also a good thing?
Yes.
And is that a direct question?
Yes, it's a good thing.
You think we should have executive commissioners?
I think so.
At least a chair and the vice chair, the way you put it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there a chance, Chair, also, and let's, we be honest, because we want to make things better, that whoever appointed you or proposed your name influenced the decisions you made in that commission? And therefore, the division that was there, because all these people came from somewhere, proposed by certain politicians.
Maybe any one of you can answer that question.
That really helps us in the way forward for the commission.
I can
I
go.
wonder, let us allow, is that...
Does the current system allow for politicians to appoint people?
No, that's what I was going to say.
I thought you applied.
Allow...
In paper, it doesn't. In practice, in the last four commissioners were actually appointees through certain politicians. That's a fact.
In actual fact, Commissioner Wanderi, and I will allow Commissioner Wanderi, then Commissioner Masit to close in answering that question. And I would want you to draw reference to the High Court decision that invalidated the manner in which you are appointed by having the Parliamentary Service Commission having 4 panelists, and it was largely felt that it was unconstitutional by the court. The court declared that particular act that led to your appointment as having been unconstitutional and said it was unfair for one institution to appoint 4 panelists. And that's why I asked you that particular question. And it's also common knowledge that then it was only 2 political players that participated in that process.
Can I say that the perception...
Hold on, Masit. Allow Wanderi 1 minute, then we'll close with you 1 minute.
I want to say this is perception. I attended an interview and I qualified for the position of the commissioner. I was not aware there was politicians that were behind that.
Correct.
Therefore, if there is anything that this committee can recommend which can clear that perception for future, we are agreeable.
Okay. Thank you.
Part of it is what we are doing, Commissioner, I can assure you. I would have asked you how you are related to Honorable Kanini Kega.
We are not related at all.
Let's avoid that push.
Yes. Mr. Chair.
Let's also, Chair, before Commissioner Masit says anything, if we really want to help this country...
Hold on, Masit.
If we really want to help this country, we must be true to what we do, and we must face the facts. The facts are commissioners were proposed by certain politicians. If I was asked to substantiate, unfortunately, I don't want to go that route, I would. And they know the truth, except they want us to believe they just found themselves on a table for interview. And so if we want to help the future, we must stop politicizing the Iebc Commission by making sure the people who go there do not go there to protect the interests of certain politicians.
We hear you, Governor says, and that's why I cautioned Commissioner Wanderi that indeed the High Court agreed in the case filed by Omtata that the process through which you are appointed was unconstitutional because one institution was overbearing over all other stakeholders in an electoral process. Commissioner Masit, you are closing for us in half a minute.
Thank you.
And I hope it's to answer a question, not a lecture.
Yes, I want to talk on the issue of appointment, and I want to say for you that I'm a career public servant. I served in CKRC as deputy of member. I served in IPPRC for boundaries as
and the CDF board.
And I was also a director of CDF and now as a commissioner. So I want to say I was qualified for the job. I was not pushed by anybody, but I did an interview and qualified like anybody. That's why I was taken to court.
Thank you very much.
I was able to choose me that time to say that I was an Udamon, just because I came from this.
Okay, thank you.
So, Chair,
yes.
In finalizing, I want us to say that the procedure was standing, announcing, and then verification, and then declaration. So, announcing came before verification and declaration of results. So that's where we missed verification, but declaration was the chairman. And finally, on the issue of Tutu, I think Tutu should be called. He said some commissioners went to meetings, and he mentioned names.
Okay.
So I think also that issue should
Thank you, Commissioner Masit.
Thank you very much.
We wish you all the best. Asante. I think we close it there.
Yes, I think now we shall excuse you, commissioners, Wanderi and Nyangaya.
Do we take lunch?
I must confess that Nyangaya is a personal
Plans of governors.
Okay, let's bring in the Council of Governors.
COG. Thank you very much,
Cherera
Cherera and
Yes, if you have any documents you would want to leave with us, we will be happy. And if you want to make any further submissions in writing, we're also happy to receive, including Commissioner Masit and Commissioner Cherera. We have Omar. We have agreed, Senator Mugeni, because of the time we have taken with Iebc, we will step down Kipra. We finish with the Council of Governors. On Monday, we shall have.
Now, can we have order?
Please. Please excuse us so that we're able to continue.
I know you're very popular people, but for now, allow us to
with the meeting.
continue with our work.
We have finished with you, but we are here to finish with our work. Members, I was just bringing up to speed after consultation with the co-chair. We had on Monday individual members of parliament who had wanted to appear. We have proposed that we stand them down since we have not also allowed other individual Kenyans to appear, except the ones we identified in the beginning, to the Attorney General Emeritus and the others. So we have asked the Secretary, we step down this if you're in agreement. In their place, we have the Kenya Institute of Public Policy, KIPRA. Agreed? Mogani?
Imogen, when are we ending these public hearings?
Can we first deal with the issue at hand?
Yeah.
Unless you have an objection, I had said
I have no objection.
We had consulted.
We have no objection
with the co-chairs and agreed we step down the individual members of parliament, since we are not also listening to individual Kenyans, so that we don't look discriminatory to other Kenyans. And they all have written memoranda. We shall consider their written memoranda, so that in their place we'll have Kipra.
Okay.
So you asking a question from the schedule. You can see we are supposed to finish on
Tuesday.
Tuesday evening.
Hey. Personally,
for public hearings.
Personally, I would have loved those MPs to appear. You know, if you are a member of parliament, you have seen an invite.
They have all. We have all their written memoranda.
But when they come here,
you know what politicians love most.
We shall write to them explaining why we can't have them.
You know, let me tell you.
We could also.
You see, Chair.
Yeah.
This process needs.
By the way, let me. Sorry. Let me.
This process.
Omogani, let me guide you. If you look at the program, there is a group that is a caucus of 27 members of parliament. That one is appearing on Tuesday at 8 a.m. The ones that were in an organized grouping. It is the ones who wrote to us individually, like many other Kenyans have done, and sought also to appear individually.
Chairman, the outcome of this process can be susceptible to a challenge. If these guys have written to us and we have recognized that they should appear, let us give them a chance to appear. Even if you put them together as a group.
I hear you, Senator.
Yeah.
Many other Kenyans have written. If Omar, you can be orderly.
Can we deal with that after this?
Maybe we deal with that.
I think so. Yeah.
The Council of Governors. But we.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
We record your strong objection.
We deal with it after.
But just bear in mind, we'll open a Pandora box for every other person. We are on the 30th day. We are here to start dealing with anything.
Okay. Senator, you made the point. Senator, you made the point. Well, let us revisit it after we finish the COG. You want us to deal with this now?
To be fair, they had only been granted that on account of being members of parliament. And why don't you give me 1 second? And on the same basis, how many other Kenyans have written asking to appear, including some who are writing to me directly. So what stops this committee from listening to all other Kenyans individually, and then we can go to parliament and seek for more time? Then we take another 1 month. Governor, I thought you were to be on the other side. Sir. Council of Governors. This is Secretariat of the Council of Governors, Karibuni. I am certain, yes, at least my co-chair seems to be doubting whether it's the Council of Governors.
No, you know, my co-chair, the impression I had was that we are meeting the Council of Governors. And I thought the definition of Council of Governors is such that it encompasses the sitting governors, not...
And particularly, through you, Chair, when we were requested to push the meeting forward on the basis that we are meeting with the Deputy President as governors. So anyway, but we can still proceed and listen.
I didn't get you, Matt, sorry.
I said particularly when a request was made that the governors will be meeting the deputy this morning, and therefore that we schedule them for this evening. So therefore, but I still think the views will not change, even if the presentation is from the Secretariat. So,
but questions on behalf of the Council of Governors, we can just actually take note of the memorandum. Yeah, yeah, really.
Had you sent a written memorandum?
Maybe unless Cicely sits there.
No.
you cannot defect. Maybe Secretariat. Who had you invited?
Thank you, Chair. My name is Luigi Mary. I'm the CEO of the Council of Governors.
Just hold on, CEO. Who had you invited?
The CEO, Council of Governors.
The Council of Governors. And we have the Secretariat.
I have the letter here.
Yeah.
From
the committee here addressed to Mary Mwiti, the Chief Executive Officer of the Council of Governors.
Asking the council to appear, not the secretariat. I think we will take note of your appearance, and we will want to engage with the council of governors. If they wish to appear, you can communicate to them if they wish to appear. Sasa, but thank you for coming. If you have, as Kenyans, if you have memoranda that you had sent, we shall take note of it.
Would
yes,
you have the indulgence of the committee to allow the secretary actually to present the memorandum? And
you shall present to the secretariat the memorandum. We shall listen to the Council of Governors if they wish to come, but not the secretariat. We are sorry.
Thank you very much. We shall excuse you for now. Yeah? Members, which are adjourned now until Monday 9 a.m. Yeah?
Chair, may I kindly request something? While I agree clearly, I think the way the letter was written may have made, because I know there has been a lot of consultations between the governors as we're trying to develop our memorandum. May I kindly request then you allow us to come as governors next week? Yes. Yeah, so that and I don't think they came because they thought they can fit in. I think they came because the letter was written to the CEO, and I know she's been consulting us, and we've been giving, and there has been a small technical team with our chair of legal affairs, Mutula Kilonzo. So, but we will ask that we be allowed next week. We come, even if it's for 30 minutes, yet to see mambo mingi, and then they can make a presentation.
Thank you very much, Honorable Governor. Yeah.
So we will schedule, Secretary, you schedule a time next week for the Council of Governors.
And you can come with them, really.
Yes, you can accompany the Council of Governors.
Actually, Chair, Monday might be a good day because I know we have the Council of Governors meeting. They could come later in the day, but I'll consult the Chair and come back to you. Maybe around 4 or 5.
Yeah.
After our meeting at the Senate, of the Council.
3:30 to 4 p.m. Monday.
Mary, did you hear that? 3:30 to 4 p.m. on Monday, so that you can come as many governors as possible.
That is in order.
Okay.
Thank you. So, as we are saying, meeting adjourned to Monday, 9 a.m. See you. I am seeing the letter was addressed to the council, but of course, it goes through the CEO, so it should have been relayed to the CEO, to the council.